Hi, folks, and welcome to Awesome Chat Live, your weekly chat with interesting people about whatever comes up. My name is JP Adkins. I am your host today. Um, the format is pretty simple. A few questions on who the guest is, a few topics of the day, some questions from you, and then we find out what they're working on. If you're joining us live, please leave some questions in the comments below that we may be asked live. If you are seeing the rebroadcast, please let us know what you think. If you have questions, then we can probably, a lot of times we do go back and check these. Today's guest is the hilarious Kage Allen. While he's trying to get in, let's talk a little bit about him. Normally at this time I'd read a bio, but today I would like to take a couple moments to tell you exactly why I believe Kage Allen is a great person and why I am proud to call him a friend. Tomorrow is important for a couple different reasons. First of all, it is my birthday, and second, it's National Suicide Awareness Day. Keep with me, I promise I'll tie all this together and it'll be funny. See, I met Kage Allen over on MySpace and then struck up a friendship. I'm lucky enough to have gone to his local signings, and as MySpace collapsed, kept in contact with him through Facebook. A couple of years ago, I came close to ending my life. I couldn't see the way out of the circumstances at the time. Around the same time, Kage and Patricia Logan started their now famous Snarkfest. I would find ending every day checking Facebook in order to get the last message, typically from Patty after Kage went to bed. At night, I would see Kage's last comment. During the day, we would see Patty's last comment. During the day, I would see Kage's response to that comment, and so on and so forth. Twice I had the pills in my hand. Twice it was thwarted by some witty conversation. So I'm talking to you today because of Patricia Logan and Kage Allen's quick and biting wit. Now, I could say that some days your reason to wake up tomorrow maybe is something as silly as a Facebook conversation. But there is always a reason to wake up. Life might not always be going the way you want it to. Some days the momentum suck is just too great to turn around on a dime. But it does turn around. There is help available. Talk to somebody, anybody. If I would have given up then, I wouldn't know that Kage wears boxer briefs today. So now that I brought everyone to tears, Kage, are you here yet? And no. So how are you?
I didn't want dead air for 10 minutes. My bad. Jesus Christ. I feel like I'm Patty Logan singing in the shower like she does when you room with her. Patty's like, now I know my ABDs. Oh, what letter was that supposed to be again? I can't spell.
You know, it's always a lot of fun that way. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to chat with us.
Thank you for letting me switch the time on you.
No worries, no worries. Anything that works for you. So if I could start out with something quite fun, what is your go-to midnight snack?
You're assuming I'm up that late.
Well, I know you're 9 o'clock snack.
I would have to guess probably those little pizza rolls, which I found out make JP Barnaby extraordinarily happy too.
It's always good to make everybody happy.
Yes, it is.
All right. So, He-Man and Transformers.
Pardon me?
Which is your favorite cartoon, He-Man or Transformers?
Transformers, because my hubby likes it. He's dragged me to pretty much all the movies so far.
Let's see, try and true He-Man man. I wish they would revitalize that franchise.
They're actually working on a remake of it.
Awesome. I can remember going to that movie as a kid. It was a lot of fun. So who was the best captain of the Enterprise?
Kirk.
Somehow I knew you'd say that.
I like the other captains. I do like the other captains. I think I've met all the captains. But I do like Kirk. I think he's the classic one, the best.
Is there a different Star Trek Enterprise that you like better than or not, I guess not say that, but a different um, Star
Try.
Trek
Could you
show.
try that in English?
Is there a different Star Trek show that you like better than uh, the original Star Trek?
Oh wow. I don't know. I mean, I liked Enterprise. I liked where it started to go. The last two seasons of it, when they finally got out of there, we have to do one episode encased in itself type of thing. I liked the original show. I loved the Enterprise in the films, the first six films. That ship was just incredible.
Hmm.
Um, I enjoyed DS9. I liked Voyager. I wish that the constraints on the show had been a little bit different. Um, what am I missing? I think that was it.
Yeah. So if you were going to have a pet, would it be a Mogwai or an Ewok?
Well, let's see. It had to be an Ewok because they could at least clean. A Mugwai just sits there and looks cute.
They can clean.
They're too tiny.
Yeah, true.
Can't have them do anything like washing the dishes.
So if you could have sex with anyone from an alien culture, which would it be?
Okay, I missed the first part of the question. I'm sorry, there was a glitch.
If you could have sex with any alien culture, which would it be?
How many alien cultures are there?
As many as you can think of.
It'd have to be a Vulcan because I'm married to one anyway.
Very true. Very good point. I've met, I've actually met him, and I can actually say that that's probably a very true statement of him. So if we can move on to some worldview questions.
Oh God.
Yeah, I know. These are always the fun ones. What do you think it will take to get Detroit back on track?
Based on what I've been reading about it, it's the last couple of bondholders who are just not on track. I don't know if it's because if they only get pennies on the dollar for what they're owed, it will shut them down. Um, but I know that they are not going to go without one hell of a fight. And once we get past that, I think Detroit's got a chance, but it's going to have the leadership and the politics, clean politics for a change that will keep the city turning around. You get somebody else in there again who just abuses the system like has been going on for the last 50, 60 years, and it's going to go right back into the toilet again. I don't even like going downtown Detroit at all. I can't stand going down there.
The last couple times I was down there, it was kind of just nerve-wracking. Like you feel like you have to watch yourself.
I get nervous going down. I don't feel safe, and I don't feel safe taking other people down there. So that's me.
I have to agree. I'm still in that mind frame. Although there are areas that I think are okay. They're still not great.
One of the places I like going downtown, John King Books. I love that place. I love going down there. Um, I don't feel safe going down there, but I love going to that store, and it's an awesome place to go. Detroit has some very awesome places in it. It's just a shame that there's so much down there stopping people from actually going.
So moving on, I know that growing up your father was a policeman. What do you think?
Sorry.
What do you think is about the Ferguson situation?
What's the what about the who and the where and the why?
About the Ferguson situation?
The Ferguson situation. What about the Ferguson situation?
You know that there in Ferguson, Missouri, there was a big
Okay, I'm thinking person. Okay, no, yes. No, that's having grown up around cops in general. I had a very different view of them. I always respected them anyway, but I knew them. I knew their personalities. I knew what they were like one on one. I never feared them, because I knew them. And I always knew, too, that if a police officer ever pulled me over, or which never happened, or ever said something to me, you do what they say, you respect what they say, because that's how I grew up. But there are always going to be a couple of bad eggs in the bunch, and what seems to be going on down in Ferguson is simply wrong, and a few people are really screwing it up for everyone else. You want to be able to trust law enforcement. You want to believe that they're doing their job to the best of their abilities and they're not going to abuse the system. But it does happen. And down there, I haven't read the last couple of reports from the last few days. I don't know if things have gotten any better down there, but I'd be scared too if I was a citizen down there, especially after what we've seen.
Do you think that it's any better here in Detroit compared to Ferguson?
Yeah, we don't have people going out and rioting at the moment.
Today.
Today. Well, yeah. But the other thing, too, that has really changed things was when people are recording things with their cell phones.
True. I agree with that also. It puts the power back in people's hands, I think. A
Well,
little bit more.
it keeps people honest. It keeps law enforcement honest, but it keeps us honest, too.
Very true. So what are your thoughts about stem cell research?
Stem cell research.
Yes.
Where the hell are you getting these things from?
Uh, I just random things that come to mind when I think of you.
I don't have a problem with stem cell research, and that's off the top of my head with very little prep time to answer that question. I know there are a lot of pros and cons to it, but if I was going to give you a truly well thought out answer, it's not going to be here and now. I know it has its uses. I know that a fellow author, Eugene Foster, who has been going through cancer treatments right now, I believe she just had some stem cell implant. I think to help with. I think it's. I could be misspeaking on that, but I thought that's what it was. So obviously there are some benefits to it, but I know there's also a lot of controversy with it.
Good answer. Good answer.
That's the only answer I could give.
So what do you think, and moving on to some of life's big questions, what do you think happens when you die?
Well, I'm hoping that Patty Logan will have enough hair dye to dye her hair again. I don't. I've heard you ask that question to a few other people, and I'm usually always surprised by some of the answers. My thought is, when you die, obviously the physical part goes, but the spiritual part goes somewhere else. And I like to think that it's a beautiful, beautiful place. I like to think that we can finally have conversations with people in our lives that we met briefly and wanted to get to know more. We get to see our relatives. And I think too that we lived a lot of previous lives. So maybe we'll finally have knowledge of what we've done in the past, brought up to the present tense, and figure out who we've seen again in this life. I like to think there are possibilities. I like to think that we can finally begin to explore things in a way we couldn't in this lifetime, but we have the basis in this life set to go on to the next.
It's a really nice place to be.
Well, to me, when I finally pass away, I want to have been beamed up to the Enterprise, and I want to go look at the galaxy for a while on that ship, which I think would be really cool.
That actually would be really cool. What makes you smile?
More than I think, and less than people would assume. I think lately for me, it's evolved a bit more. I tend to smile more when I'm around friends. Some of the conventions that I go to, Atlanta Con or Dragon Con, I was just at Dragon Con a little over a week ago, and I spent most of it with C.R. Giuliano, Cara, which I said it right. My little brother and his husband and their friends, and I got to spend time with Kieran and Kelly. I got to spend time with TC Blue, Shay Connor. I mean, it's fun, and there's a rapport between us. It's not a clique. It's relaxing. And the same thing with Atlanticon. Just sitting down, even with Patty or with JP and you and anyone else who's there, it's just Eden Winters. It's fun. And I need that kind of relaxation, that kind of positive reinforcement around me.
I agree. Having been to Atlanticon with you, it is one of the joys and great highlights of my year.
It's fun. Like, even with Dragon Con this year, I was talking with TC Blue, and she's like, hey, you remember that concert I went to? And I said, yeah, she had gone to see Queen with Adam Lambert. And out of the blue, see if I can pull it down a little bit, she brought me a shirt from the show.
Oh, how awesome.
I mean, it was totally unexpected. It was out of the blue, and it was nice. It was really sweet of her to do.
I agree. So, what makes you cry?
What doesn't make me cry these days? Reading one of Patty Logan's books. That usually does it. Reading JP Barnaby, like Aaron or Spencer, but that's a good crying. It's very cathartic. I cried in Star Trek 2. I cried in E.T. I cried in Pretty in Pink. I cried in the Friday the 13th when that poor misunderstood guy in the hockey mask kept getting killed. It could be anything. My father's got Alzheimer's right now, so there are days that are good, and there are days that after he leaves, you need to let it out.
I actually worked very hard to not talk about that.
Well, no, it's part of my life.
Yeah. So how could people that, you being a caregiver to somebody with a debilitating disease,
wow,
how
you've
can
been
we
talking
support?
to Patty.
I have. How can we support you as your friends?
Blu-rays. Tons and tons of Blu-rays.
Okay.
No. You know what? The occasional phone call is nice when I don't have Dad. I haven't been on social media nearly as much in the last 2 weeks, just because if I'm not feeling it, I'm just not going to put something out there for the hell of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just a kind word once in a while. Share a joke, something. Even those stupid YouTube kitty videos have been making me smile lately. It tells you their state of mind. But just, I guess the other thing too is, and my husband is a little bit of this as well. People mean well, but when they see that you're struggling with something, with Alzheimer's or with caregiving, they're full of suggestions, and they're full of ideas, and 90% of the people who are offering them have never been through this. So a lot of what they're saying, you've already been through, you've already heard, you've already tried. I'm not looking for suggestions unless I'm telling you I'm looking for suggestions. Mm-hmm. I may be looking to vent. I may not want to talk about it, but the suggestions are nice and they're well meant, but it's not the appropriate time to do it.
I can understand that. So, what is the best advice you have ever received?
For Alzheimer's?
In general.
Oh, in general? Wow. The things we regret most in life, or the chances we regret most in life, are the ones we never take.
Good advice.
And
Who
it's
gave
very,
it to you?
very true. What?
Who gave it to you?
Fortune cookie.
Of course it's a fortune cookie. I'm just checking to see if we have any questions from the gallery.
Probably not.
You would think that you wouldn't, but you do.
If it's from Patty, Miss, I wish I had a prostate.
She does wish she has a prostate.
I know, I remember.
I gotta love that. No, nothing from the people, believe it or not. Patty had one that I already answered. She wanted to know if you wore boxers degree.
There was a panel I was on at Dragon Con last week, and it was a group of writers, authors, and somebody in the audience. We were all GLBT authors on this thing, and somebody in the audience said, "Well, do you people find that your competition with each other? How competitive is it?" And I was really, really pleased with the answers that some of the people gave because they're like, you know what? Do you think that Stephen King and Clive Barker are competition for each other? Are they competitive? No. They're pretty giant. They both write horror, but you know what you're getting when you get to one of their books. So would we say they're competitive? No. Are the authors at least on the panel, are they competitive? Uh, Three of us on the panel were in the anthologies, or as Tis calls them, the buttthologies.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to ask, are we competitive? No. We don't compete with each other to see who can write the best story. We compete with each other to see who can get the worst reviewed story when the book comes out. Because believe me, it's you want to pull your hair out. But yes, we write in the same genre. I write comedy. Some people write like with JP Barnaby. She does the angsty drama, real life angsty type drama. Kiernan writes romance. Tis writes drama with romance. We're within the same huge umbrella of the genre, but not the same subgenre. And if one of us is selling well and we try to help other authors get to that point too, then we're all going to do well, and it's not really competitive in that respect. Which I thought was just a really nice thing to hear all of the people on that panel say.
Yeah, I mean, having working with authors as I have, I found that the more we talk about each other and the more we talk about each other's work, the better it does.
Now, I will say I did have one little funny competitive. It turned into a little bit of a competitive moment, and it's another Patty story. And first of all, I love Patty Logan. She is an absolute sweetheart. I adore her. I worship the ground she'll be buried under. She's a phenomenal friend. So yeah, we picked her a bit, and it's all in good fun. So if anybody's listening and thinking, "Wow, what a dick," no, we love each other. But there was someone I did not know Patty knew. There was an author in the UK. I believe her name. She goes under Rhiannon, I think. I could be wrong, but she did a Blog Talk Radio interview, and I was up late listening. She was up late more than I was. There's 6 hour difference. But one of the questions that she was asked, the interviewer said, "Do you have any writing mentors?" And she says she's got this little adorable voice, and she says, "Well, yes, I have two." And I'm like, "Oh, that's kind of neat." I don't know that many UK authors who I've actually interacted with, so I thought, well, this is going to be kind of interesting to hear, who her mentors are. And she says, "Well, the first one, in the US, it's Patricia Logan." And I'm sitting in bed, I'm like, what the fuck? Does she even know? I'm like, Patty Logan, of all people, Patty Logan is the mentor. She can't even spell the word. So I'm like, you know what? I had better be the second person. I better fucking be the second person. So I'm listening to this, and they're talking about Patty, and they're going on, and he says, "Well, who's your second one?" And she's like, "Well, Kage Allen." I'm like, "Take that, witch. That's right. Who's your daddy?" That's about as competitive as I get.
You guys have both been vendors to me, so I can understand why she would put you both in the same category, although you guys are very interestingly different. So
We have a lot of fun.
definitely. So what are you working on? What are you working on now?
I just sent in about a week ago my short story for the next Buttthology that's coming out in December. It's called Butt Babes in Boyland. TC Blue had suggested this particular anthology is a holiday one. And I've got a story. I think there's probably going to be 1 or 2 rounds of edits yet. It's just still in its first editing stages. And the story right now is called It's a Wonderful Lube, which I understand from It's a Wonderful Life. It's one of the things I do with titles. And
That's a short title for you.
that is a very short title for me. Although Twink Ninja Tiger, Flaxen Buns of Fury was probably mid-range.
Hmm.
But no, it's a wonderful lube. I thought was just a fun little one that makes you wonder what the heck it's about. And I took a week off of reading it, went back to it, and I did laugh several times. So I think that's probably a good sign. And I think whatever they come up with revisionary wise is going to be good. And I just had JP Barnaby read it, and she had a couple of suggestions that were excellent, simple fixes that I can do. Beyond that, I need to start writing another pathology story for next May. A group of us are doing butt riders on the range, so it'll
Okay.
be more cowboy oriented. And we've tentatively got one for 2016. We've been talking about a Dragon Con. It's not cemented yet, but we're talking about butt villains on vacation.
I just can't imagine you writing a cowboy story.
Well, the story I've got in mind is going to be set in the South. I don't know if there will be cowboys in it per se, but it will be set in the South, and I've got the story pretty much in my head. I'm just trying to figure out how I can make it interesting and still a little funny without getting stereotypical.
Okay. So, what is your latest release?
Last release I had was in May, and that was the short story in Butt Ninjas from Hell, which was the second of the Buttologies. First one being Butt Pirates in Space. Well, it's all about the butt.
It's all about butt.
And I am working on Galius 2 very, very slowly but surely, trying to get that out so that I can get on to the other four books I have in my head that I'd like to get out.
That'd be nice.
The Butt Ninjas book has gotten some pretty nice comments and reviews so far. We're real happy with it, which is why we keep doing these, and they're fun, and people have finally started picking up on the fun factor of them. It confused a little people with the first anthology, but the second one, they're getting it. And it's really neat to see that they're getting it, and they're reading it and laughing and saying, they're not asking, why am I laughing? Am I supposed to be laughing? They're now expecting that they're going to laugh.
Yeah, I know that. Personally, I got the pleasure of being at the release party for both um, Butt Ninjas and Butt Pirates, and I can tell you that the authors themselves are all very fun and funny and wonderful. Um, and I got the privilege of actually reading with you, and I have signed copies of it eventually. Yay!
Yeah, we had a
You can
blast.
pick them up. If you're watching this at home, pick them up. You will not regret it. So who should join your A team here at True Awesome?
Everybody. Everybody. I don't know why, but everybody. The
Everybody.
more the merrier. Tell
Exactly.
everybody. Tell your grandparents. Everybody. Patty knows a lot of old people. Have them do it.
And what should I have asked that I didn't?
What should you have asked me that you didn't? Wow. I think we cut just about everything. Um, wow. I can't think of anything you haven't asked because it's pretty much. I had a list of everything I wanted to go through, and you pretty much ticked off everything on there.
I, I'm getting better at this. Thank you so much for being with us today. Great, Kage.
Thank you, Jeff.
And this will be on TrueAwesome.com. You can also find it on YouTube if you are so inclined. Um, Next week we'll have another guest. I don't know who that guest will be. If you are interested, please get in touch with me. I would be more than happy to talk with you. We also have TrueAwesome.com. Please check it out. Look around. Pick up Cage's books. I'm telling you, the anthologies are hilarious. The rest of his books are life-changing, and I believe you'll enjoy them. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I'll see you next week.
Bye.
Wow.